Going on, Jerome's another beautiful Wednesday. It's time for a Vikings news dump from the undisclosed location, Gary, Indiana. Or maybe Vincennes, who knows? Anyways, first up is from Darren Doogie Wolfson. Yeah, the Vikings, fans took the Bears' loss hard, but Vikings fans, especially veterans, definitely took hard too. Doogie, go. I have been around Harrison Smith postgame many times during his 12 years here. Last night would be top 5 for seeing him most dejected. He's a heck of a player and stand up as always, even in defeat. Hope to see him in Canton one day. And Harrison's one step away from becoming the Joker in this. I would like Harrison as the Joker better than Jared Leto, but that game's got to be frustrating. And for the defensive players, like every single drive, you think that you can stop them for 0 points and get a turnover and maybe a score. But the fact that you gave up 12 points, yes, you gave up the points at the end. That's got to gnaw at them. And this team doesn't seem like the type of squad or culture where they're going to point fingers. But the defense has nothing to be ashamed about over those last 2 losses because it wasn't their fault. You allow 1 touchdown in 8 quarters of football, you should be able to win. No big deal. Speaking of that stupid Bears game, so the Vikings just out here shattering records as usual. So the Bears were the first team to win without scoring a touchdown this season, 0-28 entering Monday, and also this is the first time in like 30 years the Bears won without scoring a touchdown. It's just maddening. Like, so many things had to go wrong and go against the Vikings. Dobbs and his 3 ricocheting interceptions. Kevin O'Connell completely just mailing it in on that final drive after the fumble. And sometimes you just got to laugh. You got to laugh so you don't cry. Someone who ain't crying is... these parlays are and multi-leg bets are very popular, right? And I get it. Like, you can have a big payoff for a little investment, and they're fun. But the true odds are, a lot shorter. Anyways, the payouts are a lot shorter than true odds. Doesn't matter. But someone hit a really fun one. So T.J. Hawkinson scored the only touchdown of the game, and yet the Vikings still lost, right? So technically, he was the first and the last touchdown scorer of the game. And someone bet $25 at plus 8,500 that T.J. would be that dude. So he got paid out 2 dimes, and good for them. Good for that. That'll pay off all the other parlays we put in. It's good times, man. Also good times is Josh Metellus, who, Josh Metellus may be the most valuable player on the Vikings defense. And I understand Daniil, but in terms of what he specifically does for the defense, Metellus has really stepped up this year, man. Will Raggett, Sports Illustrated, points out quarterback pressure leaders among safeties. Josh Metellus 20, Kyle Hamilton 14. 20 is more than 14. If only Lewis Cine had some pressures. Harrison Smith and 4 others with 9. So Josh Metellus really has been a jack of all trades. He's been in coverage. He's a de facto slot cornerback. He's been a blitzing linebacker. He plays linebacker at times. So, Josh Metellus has been extremely valuable on the Vikings defense this season. And I'm glad that the Vikings extended him, paid him a little bit of cash in the offseason. And team captain, great leader, future coach. I think he's going to be great, man. Also great is Justin Jefferson returning. Woo. All right, so JJ posted on the gram an Under Armour football rendering of him, floating, healing, getting ready. It's very much akin to our guy Eli Corbett's picture of JJ and the 2. I don't know all these pop culture references. I'm sure that this is like a movie or something. But KJ and Addison looking on, but we're getting close. And JJ returning against the Raiders. Final 5 regular season games into the playoffs. Let's go, man. Also, Vikings fans. Who made more money Monday night than Kirk Cousins? I don't think anyone, right? So Vikings Insider, our guy, put out this meme. Of course, the Wolverine looking at the picture frame longingly, and it's a picture of JJ and Kirk Cousins. And the fact that the Vikings started 0-3, 1-4, lost JJ for an extended period of time, 7 games, lost Kirk for the season, and the fact that the Vikings are still in the playoff places, it says a lot. And it says a lot that, fans that were legitimately pissed off for the last 2 games because they should have been 8-4. That's just where the cookie crumbles sometimes. But Yeah. Do you miss Kirk Cousins yet? I mean, all the Kirk Cousins haters and the losers, all of a sudden you're getting a dose of reality. I mean, Kirk was playing at an MVP adjacent level. He was a top 5 quarterback in this league, and people just didn't want to realize it. But now you absolutely do, man. Someone who doesn't realize it is Jared Allen. So he was on with Kay Adams, Up and Adams show, and Jared, talking about Kirk, JEROME, Ezekiel Cousins being a free agent this offseason, said this, quote, "You can't pay him, Kirk Cousins. It's a young man's game. It's going that way. It's no bearing on his ability, but he blew his Achilles out this late in his career. Sorry, Kirk, nothing personal." Now, he does bring up a good point. Kirk is 36. He is coming off an Achilles injury, but also people are lining up for old-ass Aaron Rodgers to save the Jets next year, so beside the point there. But I think the Vikings can have their cake and eat it too. And if the Vikings do re-sign Kirk, remember, they can't franchise tag him. They do have to re-sign him. And Kirk has leverage here. He's not going to sign a 1-year Band-Aid deal. It's going to be a multi-year deal. But the Vikings could also still draft the quarterback of the future day 1, day 2. Jaron Hall could be in the mix. And the Vikings will get a compensatory pick for Josh Dobbs, who probably is playing himself into some money, even though last couple games, maybe not so much. But frankly, in terms of how Vikings legendary defensive ends have talked about Kirk Cousins, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Although I will give props to Everson. I'm glad it seems like he's in a good place now. But also one of my favorite lines ever, just calling someone ass, thank you. And it's an inside joke only some people get, and I love it. I absolutely love it, man. Speaking of the quarterback of the future, Vikings fan page put this out. The Vikings have done work on LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. Darren Duke-Wilson mentioned on Score North. Although the draft is months away, Minnesota seems to be looking into potential quarterback options in the middle of the first round. Now, also, Doogie pointed out that they're doing work on J.J. McCarthy, and Kwesi and the scouts have been on the road doing their jobs and looking under every single stone, man. And Jaden Daniels is a lot of fun. For my money, Jaden Daniels should win the Heisman. I don't know if he will, but he's a true dual threat quarterback, and there are some concerns. Like, even though he is 6'4", doesn't have a lot of weight on his body, but a couple, some juicy Lucy's and a couple McGoldens and a couple hot dishes will certainly solve that. Also, one big year of production. He was sort of whatever at Arizona State, but I mean, Jaden Daniels is so much fun, man. Both as a runner, both as a thrower, both as a leader, and also building up that Skol SU pipeline. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. But that's it. That's Vikings Wednesday news dump from undisclosed location. You guys are the best. Skol, moderate production value.